This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, along with fellow Manchild, Johnny Karlic.
Wait a minute, what the fuck you call me?
Johnny Karlic. I put like a je ne sais quoi at the beginning.
I throw something at you, but I have nothing to do with.
At first, I was like, oh man, is he serious? Like, oh, what did I call him? You're going to really throw that at me, aren't you?
No, I'm going to wear them.
I was like, shit, he's really going to throw his glasses cover at me. But welcome into the Rick and Johnny podcast right here on Most Valuable Podcast and on YouTube, Most Valuable Podcast Nerd. This is where we go through everything under the two nerdy suns, whether it's superheroes, whether it's Star Wars, whether it's movies, whether it's cartoons, whether it's everything. Johnny, we may be changing as life knows it because of, I'm not going to go through it, but if you guys haven't seen the whole COPA stuff that's going on.
The fuck you talking about?
Our lives may be changing because all of that falls under kids entertainment and kids. But I'll tell you this, I don't know why kids would want to watch us, want to watch two grown men talk about this stuff and occasionally say the word fuck sometimes. But welcome in if you're new. That is a great introduction into what we're talking about today. We got a jam-packed show with about, 10 things on the docket today? Or did I take one away? We got 9 things on the docket today, Johnny. And what do you do when I tell you how much we've got? Ooh-wee.
I'm like, which one is he fishing for?
Ooh-wee. Johnny's like, oh, shit. Which one does Ricky want me to do? Because at this point, I just feel like a trained monkey. That is what I feel like right now. But we got 9 things going over today. Before we go into everything, make sure to check out patreon.com/Most Valuable Podcast. That is where you help support us. Make sure we can keep doing stuff like this because if we are deemed a kids channel, there's a possibility we could be losing all of our ad money. So patreon.com/Most Valuable Podcast. That is how you help us out. Link is down below in the description of both podcast services around the world and YouTube because I said that way too fast. Most Valuable Podcasts, patreon.com/that. But Johnny, let's get into everything. The first thing we're talking about today is a little bit of an MCU theory. We've been talking about how X-Men are going to be put into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. What is going to be the entry point? Well, it looks like we may have found that answer, as according to Reddit user if I'm reading this right, Xfinity Mortem, that's how I should read that, Xfinity Mortem, he made a post where he said that Cable, who is originally from about 50 years in the future, that his time-traveling device could be the key to bringing the X-Men into the MCU. According to the theory, the wrist device that Cable used to jump through time in Deadpool 2 may be the same device used by the Avengers for their time heist in Avengers Endgame. Created by Tony Stark to function like a time GPS, the gadget helped the heroes land in their targeted periods and prevented them from getting lost in the quantum realm. Cable may have found one of those buried underneath the rubble in an old Avengers HQ, enhanced it via the technology from his time, and used it for himself. Other than the fact that both Cable and the Avengers time traveling devices are both worn on the wrist, there are a couple other points that support this theory. When Cable first showed up after he made the time jump from the future, he was wearing a white ensemble. Although quite different from the quantum realm suits that Earth's mightiest heroes wear in Avengers Endgame, it could be a variation of that. Perhaps it's tweaked in a way that it no longer needs the quantum tunnel to operate, as we saw in Deadpool 2. Cable simply used his gadget in the middle of the rubble Russell left after Fire Fist killed his family. So, I'm just going to ask you, with this theory being set, is this how Marvel's going to do it? Is this how Kevin Feige, I am sorry I forgot your hat and blazer, Mr. Feige.
Again.
I will bring it one day. But
I'm not holding my breath.
Is this how... I actually thought about it yesterday. I am going online. I've already looked up the hat. Now I got to... What size are you actually for a suit jacket? Do you know off the top of your head?
I need to look because I think I'm like a 52.
Because I can find
48.
one like from a thrift store, or like a budget,
or
like
if you even
online.
just remind me to bring one, I have extras.
Oh, you have a suit jacket? Then yeah. If you don't mind having a suit jacket, I will keep it in my car.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to
remind me.
lug
I'll
it
find
with me.
one that I don't care about as much.
And then we can just have it so that I can give you the suit jacket and the hat.
Yeah.
And you can put on.
Or I should just wear it every week because I think it's like weekly you turn me into Kevin Feige.
You know what we do? Instead of the wing jacket, we retire the Daryl Dixon attire.
Yeah.
And we just put your suit there. And once it's time to wear it, Johnny gets up, puts on the suit, puts on the hat, and then he's Kevin Feige. But Mr. Feige, is that how you would do it? Is that how you would introduce the X-Men into the MCU?
Not that I would use anything with the time traveling, but I mean, Deadpool and Cable would be a good movie to do that in. Mm-hmm. If you somehow tie their movie into the MCU.
How so though?
That's the question I'm thinking.
Because if you're not going to use the time travel part, how do you do it?
I mean that's just like a extra tie-in because it's like, hey, you can use. I mean, I guess that's if you have Cable and Deadpool just tied in with the wristwatch thing, then that kind of brings the X-Men in automatically. That does make sense. I didn't think about that right off the bat. I'm like, well, you need to tie the X-Men into the Deadpool movie in order to tie Deadpool into... No, you don't need to do that because that's already tied in.
They already did with he's at the X-Mansion.
I know. I'm thinking...
With Colossus.
I overshot part of it.
Yeah. We just haven't seen it. Did we see Wolverine in a Deadpool movie? No, we saw a cutout of Hugh Jackman's face.
Yes.
I'm thinking Days of Future Past when they come up to the bar and he says, "Fuck off."
Yeah, no, that's not...
Not Days of Future Past, First Class.
First Class, but still. Anyways, no, the only thing you see for him, Hugh Jackman, is when Deadpool wears like
Ryan Reynolds' face.
Yeah, he wears Hugh Jackman's face.
That's right.
Face from the cover of
Ryan Reynolds would not be wearing Ryan Reynolds' face.
No, he was wearing Hugh Jackman's face as like this.
Or the cover of the Sexiest Man Alive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. From the Sexiest Man Alive.
People, I think it was. Yeah,
maybe. I don't remember what that's from.
I think it was People. I don't know.
But yeah, that would be a really good way to tie it in. Just almost like go into how he got it or something like that.
Yeah, and I mean the thing that
didn't Deadpool repair it?
Yes.
At the end of the movie.
Yes. The last thing we saw was Deadpool took it, repaired it, and was moving it to jump through timelines and
fix things.
And the thing that actually works with this theory is
boom, you're welcome, Canada.
Deadpool kind of already did that when he jumped to the Wolverine's origin movie.
Yeah.
And he was in that movie. So I mean they don't really need to,
but they don't even need to tie in the X-Men specifically with that with this movie. They just need to have Deadpool and Cable tie into the MCU.
Yes, and that the thing I was
because they just kind of drag them with them.
Yes, exactly. And what they could do is, because Cable's time machine, I don't even need the backstory of like, I know that it makes way too much sense to say, oh, it's an old Avengers tech that Cable finds. There's part of me that goes, that's kind of too many conveniently placed pieces to lead us to the destination that we want to go to. It's kind of like the James Woods Family Guy sketch where it's like, ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Like we're following these pieces of candy and we're directing it to exactly where we want it to go. Where I would just say, if you're going to do it, say it's Cable's tech and just say that somebody in his future developed time travel. Because, I mean, the quantum realm isn't like... Unless you want that to be the only way in the MCU that someone can do time travel. Because you might not want to convolute things. But, like, there's a part of me that just goes, somebody else figured it out.
Well, I was going to say, have it like almost...
Somebody else, rather than Hank Pym and Iron Man and the quantum realm people, basically, like the Hulk and stuff, somebody else in the future figured it out.
Let's say it could be one of those ones where somebody upgraded it. Like off of Tony Stark's wristwatch. So it's like, hey, found this.
Yeah.
And they knew, actually, because they were using it afterwards anyway, so it doesn't even have to found it in the rubble. It's like, hey, someone else developed it, so you don't need the quantum tunnel. Because technically, with Ant-Man, the first time we get to the quantum realm, he just takes off his, what the hell was it?
The regulator.
Thank you, yeah. He just took off the regulator, went subatomic.
Yeah, he just kept going smaller. The other thing, here's the thing that I actually just thought of right now. First question I'll ask is, in the MCU, what version of the Fantastic Four do you want? Do you want a younger Fantastic Four like we saw in the original Fox movies when we were kids? Or do you want to see an older Reed Richards?
Give me middle-aged Reed Richards.
Here's the thing then. Here's what you can do. You can actually have it to where Reed Richards, because everyone's kind of thinking already that Reed Richards is going to play with, could be a smart enough mind to enhance what the Avengers have already done with time travel.
For sure.
I would say do something like that where maybe this would be a, after the events of Endgame at some point, a middle-aged or kind of, when I say middle-aged, I'm saying like gray hair on the side, Reed Richards, dabbles in the time travel, dabbles with the quantum realm, figures out a little bit about time travel, and because he did that, that sets us on the, like, there is the time path to get to Cable, and then once we get to Cable, Cable goes back for Deadpool 2, and then Deadpool 3 is all about their world or their time becoming shit, and we have to go back and fix it, and when they go back and fix it, boom, we're in the MCU, and they just kind of are then there, and then they just kind of stay. Or you could say, technically, because you know how we mentioned how Deadpool jumped around? You could say, because the big thing is, are the Fox characters in the same timeline, or are they in a different multiverse? That's the big question you have to answer. If they're in a separate multiverse, then time travel is not going to work.
Exactly.
Because they're going to be like, it's going to be two separate train tracks that don't intersect. That's why, for me, I feel like the time travel thing ain't going to work unless Doctor Strange 2 fucks everything up, mixes the multiverses together to where then something like this could work.
Well, right now, I'm not going to say separate multiverses. I'm not even going to rely on them time traveling to make it work. I'm just saying that's the connection already.
The time device.
The time device is already the connection. That's your that's your general connection.
Yeah.
So like it has really not the whole storyline is based on just that. Obviously they have a villain that to fight and blah 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 blah.
Yeah. You're talking about in Deadpool 3.
In Deadpool 3, yeah. But my thing would be like, hey, this is where it's connected, because technically Reed Richards is already connected to the MCU.
How so?
Do you remember
the Nick Fury thing? That in Iron Man, where it was Iron Man 2, the map behind him. Is that what you're talking about?
You're thinking about, there's that.
Because that had Black Panther on it. It had a circle in the middle of the Atlantic.
I think, I'm going to look it up real quick. But I believe I can't think of it all of a sudden. What the hell was it? In Winter Soldier, the targeting system.
It mentioned something about Reed Richards?
I'm pretty sure it showed Reed Richards on the map. Get this.
And you said in Winter Soldier it said this?
Remember how the things were targeting everyone?
Yes.
I remember seeing Reed Richards' name.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we would have to look into that.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of watching right now. So
Johnny's like, oh man, great time to do this on the podcast.
It is.
But the thing is, I know you said that, you're not going to think about it as multiverses. I kind of feel like, and this is the thing that in my mind breaks this theory, is I think it's going to be a multiverse thing, not a time travel thing. Because why would they set up multiverses with WandaVision / Doctor Strange 2 if they were just going to do a time travel thing? And I know that you may say, well, Ricky, the time travel thing then plays into what you and Johnny talked about with King the Conqueror, because Avengers Endgame might set it in motion. Well, now if Cable, like, what if Cable's I kind of want to use the word MacGuffin, where it's like, him and Deadpool then have to come back to our time in the MCU to warn us about Kang. That Kang may be coming because, or you just put it this way, Cable's in the future, right? You could even say that Deadpool 2 was in a future. Not a far future, but a little bit of a future from the MCU, that Cable comes back, oh shoot, I missed my time, or something happens to where they have to go back in time further. That's where the MCU would be, because of what happened in Avengers Endgame is messing up the future. It's messing with Deadpool's time. Because you think about it, what if it's because Cap went back? Because we talk about what the Ancient One said. You change one thing, you create a new strand. I'm sorry, Captain America going back to be at Peggy Carter, that would create an extra line, would it not?
No, that depends.
Because him being there, knowing her, changed what her path would have been.
Well, here's the thing.
Because she wouldn't have done the exact same thing she would have done.
We never see who her husband is. We never hear about who he is, other than Captain America saved my husband. Mm-hmm. What if it's just the fact that when he went back, that's what was supposed to happen? You don't know.
He was supposed to go back?
Yeah, because I'll be honest, I do not agree or like the theory that, oh, Doctor Strange went and pulled them from his multiverse into this one. It's like, why would Doctor Strange go ahead and do that?
Yeah, I don't think so. I
think it's just like that's when he was supposed to stop existing in our time
and start existing
back in the 1940s again.
Yeah, but how
and then he just.
But how do you justify that? Like, just someone, and I'm thinking about that. Like, what in a timeline, someone's just magically supposed to reappear? Like, that's the part I don't understand. And that's like,
well,
not
to them,
saying it's impossible.
It's not just magically reappear. It's,
you're unfrozen.
Steve,
you've been alive
survived
this whole time. Yeah.
Like, we don't know what specifically time he came back to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was basically like, he stopped it shortly after we see victory. We won the war.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been like, hey, it's like a month after, and he shows up to Peggy's door. It's like, oh my God, Steve, you're alive. Boom, that's it.
Yeah. To me, that's the biggest thing of like, I wonder if they're going to play that. I wonder if they're even going to play that in, or if it's just going to be like, nope, we're never going to touch it. We're never going to explain what happened.
What I would do for this one, if anything, then, if you want to do some of those routes, do a little bit of time traveling, make it more like, a little bit more messing with time. So far we got Endgame. Kind of didn't mess with time itself because they put everything back, other than Steve jumping back and again.
Deadpool would fuck something up.
But so Steve jumping back, debate. You can make the debate that it does mess up time. I'm going with the fact that was supposed to happen in the timeline, and that was supposed to happen in the timeline. Because I'll go off the Avengers cartoon. The fact that Captain America survived the ice is what in the cartoon from 2014, I believe it was. That's what fucked up Kang's timeline, was Captain America surviving the ice. As soon as he was unfrozen, that's the start of fucking Kang's time. But have the events of Endgame, like them going back in time, taking the stones and fixing it
Thanos.
to fix it and defeat Thanos, bringing half the population back of the universe. That starts to fuck with Kang's time. And then make more so the events of Deadpool and Cable. Make their Deadpool 3 movie. Make that, maybe play with it a little bit more. Tie the wristwatch thing into the Avengers MCU stuff. And it also, so we can see like, hey, this tech can be evolved into whatever Kang has for his. So where he can almost dilate time to see what happens.
So one thing I gotta look up really quick is I'm trying to think. I wish I had off the memory. There was the Cable comic that Mark and I read for a graphic conversation. It was in that one, Cable basically jumped back to obviously fix things. What if everything's going on normally in Deadpool 2's I'm not even going to say universe, just with Deadpool 2. Because you could say Deadpool and the Avengers are going on at the same time. Mm-hmm. That basically, Cable and Deadpool got snapped away. So that explains why they basically they can make a joke of like, wow, like that was weird that we ceased to exist for a little bit. But they don't have to deal with like what happened during the snap. And you don't have to deal with explaining that. But what they could do, and I'm looking at what villain would, maybe it's a Bishop. Maybe a guy like Bishop, or did they already use Bishop? I'm trying to think of.
Not really. I mean, they think they used it for...
The point that I'm making is, maybe they used Black Tom Cassidy. Because they mentioned...
They killed Black Tom.
Oh, they did. Fuck. I'm trying to think. The villain doesn't matter. Plug in whatever villain that you think works. Basically, the point of the story would be they're in Deadpool's time. Mm-hmm. Something happens with Cable where Cable starts feeling weird, maybe is like phasing out a little bit. And Cable's like, I have to go back to my time. And Deadpool's like, I'm coming with you. And they go to the future. They can make many Back to the Future jokes. Mm-hmm. Wow, we're actually going back to the future this time. We're not going to the past. Yeah. And basically they go to Cable's time because of what happened in Endgame is fucking up Cable's future. Mm-hmm. And we find out Cable's future is Kang's regular place. Like Cable and Kang were in the same timeline. Cable was jumping, so he didn't know what was going on in his normal time, like where he should be. And they've got to go back. And then it comes down to, well, we got to go back and fix this. And that's where you get the Colossus goes, all right, Charles may be able to help us. Boom. That's where, okay, we need to make ourselves known and go and seek out the Avengers. And that's where they jump back a little further, maybe right after Endgame, and boom. That's where we get the Kang tie-in. We get kind of like to where it's not multiverses. The only thing I would have that I'd be like, really, is if the X-Men and the Avengers are happening at the same time, how do they not know one another exists? Mm-hmm. And how do they not run into each other at all? Copyright. That's why me personally, I'm adapting more of the multiverse theory, mainly because what they're setting up with Doctor Strange 2, but that's another story that they could do, and I don't know if you would change anything with that.
See, that's what I'm trying to think about, because I'm trying to look up actually at least it's giving me comic book wise. I'm trying to see when. Because
are they still going to do does Disney still want to do the X-Force movie?
I have no idea. I know they want to do Deadpool. They want to do it
sooner rather than later.
No, they want to do make it rated R still. Mm-hmm. That's all I really know about that so far. I don't know much else but that.
Because I'm trying to.
Descendant of Richard Reeds becomes fascinated with history.
Who are you looking at?
Pre-Kang, Nathaniel Richards, a 31st century scholar and possibly descendant of Reed Richards, becomes fascinated with history and discovers the time travel technology created by Victor Von Doom. Mm-hmm. Richards then travels in time to ancient Egypt to aboard a sphinx-shaped time ship that becomes the pharaoh's Ramatut, and plans to claim En-Saba-Nur, the mutant destined to become Apocalypse, as his heir. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see.
You're looking at Kang's backstory?
Kang stuff, yeah.
Okay.
Richards then tried to return to the 31st century, but overshoots by 1,000 years, discovering a war-torn Earth that uses advanced weapons they no longer understand. He finds it simple to conquer the planet, expanding his dominion throughout the galaxy, and reinvents himself as Kang the Conqueror. So Reed Richards' possible descendant becomes Kang the Conqueror. That'd be an interesting one to tie into Deadpool 3.
How so?
I don't actually know, unless I don't know. I'm just trying to think of what else we could do with this, because don't have a lot to work off of with it right now with info.
Deserve the hat or jacket.
Take it. You can have it. You didn't even bring it.
But I mean, the only thing I would think about with that is, so what are we doing? And it's okay to do this in my mind.
Question. Oh, yeah,
a
go ahead.
Deadpool / Fantastic Four movie. Are the Fantastic Four going to cameo in a Deadpool movie before they get their own movie?
I would want them to have their own movie first.
Exactly.
Or do we just not make Deadpool 3 the one to tie this all in? This is the
I
other
mean,
thing.
we're just doing
like
it because
Deadpool
of the theory.
It'd be theory, but why don't my thing would be, do we just have Deadpool be another?
Let Fantastic Four be the entry piece.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
Or again, like an X-Men actual movie be how we tie them into the MCU, or
Kind of a better version of Days of Future Past.
yeah, or an after credit scene, like kind of slowly tie them in with after credit scenes.
Yes, I feel like
Little hints.
I feel like that's what they're gonna do because that's what
They're
they
gonna
always
do that little hints here and there that they aren't part of the universe, because like Nick Fury's thing was pretty broad, and I know it more so at the time meant like Hulk, Thor,
You're
Captain
talking about
America.
Iron Man 1?
Iron Man 1, where he goes, I forgot how he phrased it, but he's got more problems than just Iron Man.
Let's see. Nick Fury.
But this might be a good one for like a tie-in with the Fantastic Four, Reed Richards, and all that. Have Reed. The only way I would say it is like, instead of Victor Von Doom doing the time making time travel technology, make it Reed Richards enhances time travel technology.
Yeah, so there was an original version of Nick Fury's post-credit scene. I wanted to look up the actual transcript where I'm just going to read it from Gizmodo. In the original version, Nick Fury arrives unexpectedly to invite Iron Man to join the Avengers Initiative. This version essentially does the same thing, but it's how Nick does it that's surprising. And he says this: as if gamma accidents, radioactive bug bites, and assorted mutants weren't enough, I have to deal with a spoiled brat who doesn't play well with others and wants to keep all his toys to himself. So on top of the gamma radiation, bug bites, Spider-Man, assorted mutants, X-Men. They didn't do it, obviously, because they didn't want to get sued out of their shoes by Fox and Sony.
So they just kind of made it a broad, I got bigger problems than you.
Exactly. I'm fine with having the Fantastic Four be the tie-in to all this because, I mean, Deadpool doesn't have to be the only reason we're talking about it is because this theory has the time watch of Cable.
Like you can make that
tie-in.
you can make that be a baby tie-in right there then, and have like Reed Richards sort of the start of advancing the technology. Then you can kind of tie in the Nathaniel Richards being not only King the Conqueror, but hey, a guy that shows I also played around with
time travel.
The
Avengers aren't the only one to have fucked with time.
And you can even exactly. So like you can show like have that like the Avengers time travel watch tie into the Cable time travel watch, tie into the Reed Richards time travel,
tie into the Nathaniel Richards
/ King the Conqueror. This kind of gives us a snowballing to a King the Conqueror.
True.
In the MCU then.
Plus, I feel like they'll go that way because, I mean, with the Kang and Fantastic Four tie-ins, they're more closely connected than Deadpool and Cable. But let us know what you guys think down below. And let's move on. The next thing I wanted to hit, kind of a mini thing, is we had talked about it last week. How the Iron Man deleted scene for Avengers X Game, Avengers Endgame, That's the X-Men movie. Avengers X Games.
I was going to say, so the Avengers are now doing...
they're skateboarding and rollerblading and snowboarding and doing half pipes and 360s.
And Cap going down the slope, man.
Did you say handicap?
I said Cap going down the
Cap
slope.
Going down. I thought I heard handicap going down the slope. I'm like, who's handicap?
Wow.
But basically, it's a deleted scene that
Really hearing.
if you haven't seen it, spoilers. Just gonna say that. Spoilers. If you haven't seen it, go see it. I'll be waiting here for you. Johnny will be waiting here for you. It's not like we're going anywhere. But the scene is right after Iron Man snaps away everything. It's kind of like the similar thing we saw with Thanos, where he saw baby Gamora in what looked to be the Soul Stone.
Yeah. Like a Soul Stone realm.
Tony Stark gets the same thing. He gets a great moment with older Morgan, where older Morgan gets to tell him that, hey, I'm able to live because of what you did.
Everyone.
I want to thank you for everything you did.
Proud of you.
She tells him that she loves him, and then he hits us with the hard line of, like, I love you 3,000, before he comes back and then actually dies how he did in the movie. I just wanted to get, this is very short before we go on to the next thing, your thoughts on it, because though I liked it and it hit me in the feels, I do agree with the Russos when they said the reason they took it out was they feel it was too redundant, getting that and then the narration by Tony at his funeral, that they were hitting the same, like, it was diluting the whole him dying, where it was like too much and it's diluting the situation.
Yeah, no, I agree, because if they had to put that in the movie, like how the movie was, how it was, it hit the peak that it needed to.
Yeah.
To make us almost if not start tearing up.
But then you weren't going to have you wouldn't have the funeral scene.
Well, I'm saying that like how they did in the movie. But had they left everything else they did and added that one in there, you would have been oversaturating, and at that point it's like, okay, this is enough.
Yeah. The funeral wouldn't have had that effect. Like, seeing it would have been like, oh, they're
Avengers
just doing
there.
this to put everyone
The
in
one
one
I think
film.
they should have thrown in the movie then and there was the kneel.
The what?
Did they? I don't think they had the kneel scene in the movie, did they?
Explain what you're talking about.
So right after Tony passes away, you got, I think, I'm trying to remember who started it off, but everyone started kneeling like to Tony.
Yeah.
They should have had that in the movie. I don't think that was in the movie in theaters.
Okay. I think I remember that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up right now.
But yeah, I mean, it's a great scene. It hits the spots. I mean, it sucks for I can't remember her name, Catherine something, who is the actress, where I remember we talked about on the podcast of who she could be, and it ended up her part got cut. But I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, it's a deleted scene.
This is a kind of follow-up from last week where I mentioned it. Johnny said he didn't watch it. Both Johnny and I have now watched it.
Yes.
And that's why I wanted to give our reaction to that. But the next thing I wanted to move into is a little DC news. And yet again, another follow-up of something we talked about last week, where last week we talked about the Black Adam movie now being a complete thing. It's going to be an actual movie. They came out with the social media post. I think it was an Instagram post that we read and looked at last week. Not Marvel, DC and Boss Logic kind of doing a collaboration on that. And we got some more details about what is going on with Black Adam. I'm going to pull it up in 1 second. This is coming from, let's see, do they have an actual source, or was this their own interview? I think this might have been an interview with Screen Rants. Let's see. Yeah, because Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson right now is doing a lot of press for Jumanji. I think it's like the next level. The sequel to the Jumanji movies that they were making. And the Screen Rant article says this: the confirmation comes after months of rumors suggesting Black Adam would include JSA, the Justice Society of America heroes like Hawkman and Stargirl, and Johnson himself teasing more DC cameos in Black Adam long before. While speaking with Screen Rant, during a press for the upcoming Jumanji The Next Level movie, hey, Ricky Reed, things will sort themselves out. Johnson confirmed that a fight with Shazam won't happen, but did reveal the superhero team that his film will introduce to the MCU. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, without giving too much away, it's not in the plans right now. I think the approach that we are taking, that we're talking, I feel really good about, and all the filmmakers do too as well. It's an original story, and that's where we started. And we root it, and then we build out from there. Now, not to say Shazam isn't on my radar. Of course Shazam is, but so is all of DC. JSA was my jam growing up. JSA we will introduce you to the world of JSA. So if you're not familiar with the Justice Society of America, they are obviously kind of like a Justice League type of team.
Yes.
And they are members, let's see, right here, retcon members, let's see, note in the wake of Flashpoint, the history was rebooted, but they're like an alternate version of the Justice League. And I want to say that there was a Justice League of America episode from the TV series where the JLA goes back in time or time travel some way, and they come together.
A few of them do, yeah. Not all of them. Because
this is where you've got, like, the Jay Garrick Flash. You've got Alan Scott as Green Lantern. You've got Hawkman. Sandman is in this. You've got Spectre, Dr. Fate, Hourman, Adam, Starman, Wonder Woman, Earth 2 version of Wonder Woman, though.
Green Gardener.
The Green Gardener. You also got Wildcat, which I think that's the Batman version.
Yes.
And then you also have Black Canary in it as well. Red Tornado is obviously a guest in it. Power Girl, Hawk Girl. I'm trying to look at other additions that they may have made that you may have known. Atom Smasher, who I believe they had in the Flash TV series. He was actually played by Edge, WWE superstar in that. But it looks like, and also Captain Marvel, Billy Batson, Captain Marvel original. But Johnny, just a quick little hitter of, what do you think about the comments made by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? What do you think about us looking into a JSA? We're getting a Justice League, kind of, but not the actual Justice League.
Interesting. It's an interesting take on it, because I do remember talks way back when of having him go against Hawkman and Stargirl and stuff like that, which would be interesting because maybe it's a turning type movie where he goes from hero to villain. Yeah. Because maybe it's like, hey, I've got most of the powers here. I'm gonna do this as I see it fit. I am your Superman.
Yes.
None of you can beat me.
And the thing I find interesting is if they're gonna have Stargirl in this movie, because one of the things that they've never said, but we kind of assume is kind of pseudo true, if I'm using that right, is that what's going on in the DC TV series, that they're kind of connected to the movies, but not really. For example, Titans. Everything that's going on there is going on in the DCEU. So, like, the movies and the TV series are happening in one universe. Sorry for my throat just being like, hey, you know what? You got to burp. And I'm like, no, you can't burp. I'm talking here. But basically that they're all in the same universe, that they're not separate. And the thing that I think kind of plays into that, too, based off of this, is if they're going to do JSA and they're going to have Stargirl in this movie, there was news that came out that originally, I don't know if you remember this, Johnny, but they were going to do a Stargirl TV series for DC Universe.
A little bit.
Their app. Well, now it's come out that for sure that series will not be a DC Universe series. She is going to join the Arrowverse. And she could be in Crisis on Infinite Earth.
Yeah.
Which to me now makes it to where it's like, oh, maybe they are tied together then. Because if you're going to have Stargirl in the movie, why would it matter if she's a DC Universe series or an Arrowverse series? This to me, and I know I'm bringing in another story here from DC, but it kind of smells to me like, oh, we kind of want these to be connected at some point. So let's put her in that Arrowverse. It's kind of dying off and it's not connected to us whatsoever.
Exactly. They want this to actually work out. And
The only other thing from it that I think is kind of cool and interesting is when he says it's I said original origin story. So it will be an origin story movie from Black Adam. But I did want to mention that, and also we talked about Shazam being in it last week. Shazam probably not going to be in it this time around.
Yeah.
Because this will probably be before Billy Batson. If it's an origin story, it's before Billy Batson is even Shazam, right?
Yeah.
That's what I would assume. And
honestly,
the JSA came before the JLA.
The only thing that makes it kind of throws a wrench in the idea I had way back when was Black Adam and Hawkman. Depending on what like origins you go with Hawkman, I know in the cartoons we watched as a kid, as well as I believe the Arrowverse. No, I think that is still part of the Arrowverse. Heroes of Tomorrow.
Yes.
That's part of the Arrowverse.
Legends of Tomorrow.
Legends of Tomorrow. Thank you. Both of those have Hawkman like stemming as like a reincarnation thing, whereas. So maybe like way back in ancient Egypt when it started, or way back whenever when he became Black Adam, is Hawkman versus Black Adam. But now that you got Stargirl thrown in there, kind of she's more of a recent hero, am I right?
Let me see. Stargirl. She was also one that
like she's not from like the way back when time. She's just now.
Let's see.
Modern time superhero, I should say.
She is. Let's see. Where is her? Yes, she is more. So she would be modern as JSA.
Yeah,
modern.
Exactly. She's not like she wasn't back when ancient Egypt. She's not a reincarnation thing. She's not.
Yeah,
she's a modern superhero.
Yeah, she would be modern as it portrays to the JSA.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Obviously not the Justice League. And I was thinking Justice League of America was Justice League Unlimited was the TV series where they dove into it.
Potato.
But next thing we'll dive into, we're going to jump back to Marvel.
Yes.
Because there was a Q&A on Instagram where writer and director James Gunn has again suggested that Adam Warlock might not be appearing in Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
So far, you're just a throw-in for the, like a...
Yeah. So the question is, one of them said, hey, what's up? Who will be Adam Warlock in Guardians 3? He replied, I never said Adam Warlock was in the movie. Johnny, I'm going to ask you this. Is this just James Gunn being James Gunn and saying, I'm not going to give anything up? Or is this... something, nothing, or everything, something, or nothing?
All the above.
Okay. So it's everything.
Yeah.
So you still think, no matter what James Gunn says here, Adam Warlock will be in the movie?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know if did I say Adam Warlock was going to be in the movie?
I don't remember.
I think we theorized that he could be.
Because they put him in the end of the second one.
Yeah, but here's the thing. How many times have we gotten, like...
things wrong? A lot.
Oh, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like, hey, they show...
Watch any prediction video Ricky's done. He's usually wrong.
So they throw like, hey, this character is connected to the MCU, but we're not going to give it to you, honestly.
Yeah. Plus, how long does it take an Adam Warlock to hatch out of a cocoon? I don't know.
No one knows.
I don't know how
It's like how many licks does it take to get the Tootsie Roll son of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know.
The world does not know. We will
no one has the
know.
Patience for that.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the people say, oh, it's this many licks. Nope, you didn't do it right.
You just crunched it right away like the owl. But I mean, yeah, with me, would I love him to be in Guardians 3? That's not true. Would I love for him to be in Guardians 3? Yeah, because it'd be amazing. I felt like I was kind of cheated when he wasn't tied into Endgame because he is the Soul Stone. Like, him and the Soul Stone are one and the same.
Well, we didn't set up the MCU like that, so...
I get why they did it. I'm not harping on that.
I'm just saying. You still up.
But I do wonder if maybe the plan is, hey, let's not have him in a 3. Let's save him for a 4. Because it's not like they're going to, it's not like they're going to stop doing Guardians movies. They're just going to change the roster. This will be, maybe they're not going to put him in this movie because maybe they're thinking, why would we introduce Adam Warlock if this is going to be the last movie with the current Guardians lineup that we know it right now? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
It doesn't make sense to say, hey, we're saying goodbye to this lineup without introducing the new one. And, oh, by the way, here's Adam Warlock. Maybe they do something where if he's in the movie, they end the movie. Okay, we're going to have this new Guardians team. We kind of know who's on it. And then all of a sudden, it's like the post-credit scene is his cocoon cracking open.
Yeah, that would be
cool.
And
it's like, shit.
I'll take that.
All right. Adam Warlock is now here in the next one. But I did just find it funny, and I'm like, I got to put it in there, that Adam Warlock, James Gunn. I never said he was in the... and it's not that he said no. It's not that he said, no, he's not in the movie. He just said I never said he was in the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
To me, it's kind of one of those things where it's like you ask someone a question and they go, well, I never said that. And it's like, no, fuck you. You could have gave me a yes or no, but instead, Dave does it all the time where it's like, well, technically I never said that. And it's like, yeah, you didn't have to. It's a yes or no. Mm-hmm. Yes or no. Don't tell me you didn't say it. Just tell me a yes or no.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many other villains they can play around with, too. Just looking, quick look at it. Mm-hmm. We used Ronin, we used Korath, we used Thanos. Possibility not it's anymore. Or we used Supreme Intelligence somewhere else, or we used Dormammu somewhere else, Skrull somewhere else, Kree somewhere else.
What if they're dealing with the Skrull?
Maybe.
Because, I mean, the Skrull aren't dead.
But here's some new ones if they wanted to throw it in.
Go ahead.
Mephisto.
Yes. Which we can now do because of the Fox deal, I think.
Yes. Thane, son of Thanos.
Okay.
That'd be a cool, revenge one. Maybe.
Did Thanos have enough time to have a kid? Or was he too worried about saving the...
Maybe not. I don't know.
Okay.
He adopted a lot.
Yeah, I would feel...
Adopted?
The only reason why I wouldn't do that is I would leave the Thanos stuff like it's done. We did
I know.
Thanos,
I was just throwing it out. Korvac would be an interesting one. And this could be one where, hey, we can't beat him the first time. We need to add to our roster and possibly add, Cosmo, the dog that you see in... what's it called? Guardians 2, I believe
in the
it was. Collectors area, yeah. They may have been Guardians 1, actually. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You could add Moondragon, I believe it was. And there's there's a shit ton of people to the roster.
Yeah.
But anyways, I mean, there's other villains we can go out and about. Because Adam Warlock, one of their villains at one point, but we don't have to.
He's kind of a bit. Well, doesn't he join the team too and become the leader of it at one point?
I don't know about leader, but I know he does join the team at some point.
So it's like Adam Warlock is, because I feel like that's the route I feel like they're going to go with, is he's an enemy at first, but then joins the team, and that's why maybe we all thought 3 was going to be the perfect one, because he could be the villain and then kind of be on the team.
We also have to deal with whatever Thor's going to be tied into with that.
Yes, if he will be tied in after.
Well,
or is this just like a Guardians of Asgard, and then he goes, all right, bye, guys. I'm going to go off and do something else.
Leave him somewhere.
Yeah, leave him because, he left New Asgard. He left it in Valkyrie's hands.
It's funny, they fly off without him. He goes,
but I thought I was a part of the team.
What the hell, guys?
Star-Lord left him because he's so insecure.
Exactly.
It's his team, so he left him without Thor.
Yes, of course.
But that was just something I wanted to throw in there because, obviously... Adam Warlock, we've talked about it. The next one to me is interesting, the next story we have. And this comes from CBR.com. Apparently, Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther in the MCU, wants nothing to do with Marvel/Disney Plus series. Here's what the article says. With the buzz around Marvel's upcoming Disney Plus series steadily increasing, Black Panther star Chadwick Boseman was asked... this is from earlier in the week. I had to look because they're writing it like it was before Disney Plus came out, but it's after. Chadwick Boseman was asked which of his Avengers co-stars would he want to team up with for an adventure on the small screen. Here's the quote from Chadwick. I wouldn't, because I don't want to do a TV show, he said. adding that he has other things he's excited about doing, and none of those are franchises. In discussing Black Panther 2, Boseman noted he's interested in exploring the setting and finding out new things about his particular section of the MCU, as long as the foundation that was established in the first film is honored. Disney Plus is now available. That's an ad that I'm not going to read. I hate when articles do that. They throw in an ad and they don't make it like an ad.
Yeah.
Basically, they go on, here, nope, that's not a quote. So no more quotes from Chadwick Boseman. Just the fact that he said, I wouldn't because I don't want to do a TV show. Is this just something where, first off, he's the first one to kind of come out and say this, where we just kind of all assume that, the MCU, do you think we might come to a point because of this, where Marvel goes, hey, we would love to do this, Black Panther is in it, and Chadwick Boseman, I'm using him because he said no, and he goes, no, I don't want to do this. If Marvel, it would all have to come down to contracts too. If in the future, this might get Marvel thinking, okay, how do we have to rework our contracts? Because if they want to do something like a Disney Plus series that has Black Panther in it, and Chadwick Boseman goes, no, I don't want to do TV, well, if it's not in the contract, they're kind of SOL. Where do you think stuff like this comment is going to change how Marvel does things because of now the Disney Plus
They
series?
rewrite their contracts once everyone's is up. Like go on, they add the hey, let us do a TV show with you if we want to as well. And if they don't want to sign on, they don't want to sign on. What are you going to do?
Like you can't say no if we need to use you in a
TV show.
TV show.
Yeah, which is going to be interesting because he's supposed to be the focal point of one of the. I know it's animated, so you don't have to have him live action, but you have to have.
You're talking about the what ifs.
The what ifs, yeah. I mean, you can get someone to just revoice over that. That doesn't matter at that point.
Yeah,
but it's just like.
I mean, something like that, and I'm not going to speak for Boseman, but I mean, something like that doesn't feel like. And it's one episode. So I feel like that would be like, okay, fine, I'll come in and do the one episode. But I feel like he's talking more of, because he was asked about like a series. Who would you want to team up with? And part of me just feels like he's not a TV guy. A TV schedule is vastly different than a movie schedule.
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people, like, and I believe it was Anthony Mackie that just like people that would kill for that type of job, being a superhero.
We get to do what no one else gets to do.
He's the opposite side of it, where it's like, I'll do whatever Marvel asks me to do.
Yeah. They're also on like
they want to give me a jetpack and say fly around. Hopefully it works. I'm gonna do it because then I can be the Falcon. No, but it's like he's happy to be in the movies. He's happy to get a Disney Plus series. And I guess Chadwick Boseman, and it kind of surprises me, but I'm not an actor, so I can't say anything about it.
Yeah.
It surprised me that he's not willing to, hey, I'll do a TV series with you guys.
Well,
that's his choice. That's
it comes
fine.
down to me of, and I'm glad you brought Anthony Mackie into it, because to me, they're two different actors.
Oh, for sure.
And when I say that, nothing against Anthony Mackie, but if you were to go out to the casual, like, man on the street segment, like Jimmy Kimmel does on late night, and you ask people, just casual people walking down the street, who's Anthony Mackie, who's Chadwick Boseman, there'd be a good amount that know neither. But if I would put my money on if someone knew one of them. If you said, Ricky, which one do you think
Chadwick
most of them know? It'd be Chadwick Boseman.
Because he's in more things.
Well, not just that. Like, not just he's in more things, but like just, I want to put in right now just what they're working on and what's in post-production as the example. For Anthony Mackie, here's what he's in. He's in post-production for The Woman in the Window. He's filming right now Outside the Wire. He's in pre-production for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He's in pre-production for Signal Hill. And it's announced that he's going to be in a movie called The Big Manchild. I hope I said that right. Where Chadwick Boseman is in post-production for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Post-production for Da 5 Bloods. He's right now filming his one episode of What If. He's in pre-production for The Black Child. He's in pre-production for Yasuki. And he's announced for Black Panther 2. But, like, even with, you look at Chadwick Boseman, I think he's starting to make the turn into a bigger star.
Yeah.
Because, like, right after Endgame, what movie is he in? 21 Bridges. Of course, yet again, I made the joke to you when we saw the trailer. Oh, of course, it's a Russo movie. Of course, they got Chadwick Boseman to be in that movie because of all his work that he did with the Russos, with the last two Avengers movies beforehand. But I feel like T'Challa or Chadwick Boseman, in his mind, it's like no, I am a movie star. Whereas Anthony Mackie, to me, is the perfect, I don't want to say company guy because that kind of has a negative connotation to it. But Anthony Mackie, I feel like, could be the Captain America of the MCU. The face. The guy that's this is the guy that, hey, we ask him to do something, he's going to do it for us because he loves to do it.
Yeah. No, I agree. They are very different actors. They have very different repertoires, I guess.
Plus, if you don't want to do TV, it's up to you.
No, that's fine. Like I said, to me, I don't necessarily get it because, like, that's a...
If you love being Black Panther, why should it matter? Kind of thing,
exactly.
Right?
That and, like, it's a job people would kill for. Some people would kill for, as Maggie put it. But, I mean, that's his choice. He wants to be a different type of actor. He doesn't want to do TV slots.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's fine. I mean, I'm not, like... what's the word for it? I'm not like saying anything bad against him for it. It's just like me personally, I don't understand it, but that's his choice. It's just like I think you're right when you ask, is Disney gonna rework some of their contracts? Yeah, they're probably gonna work it in. So like, okay, now we won't have this problem next time someone tries to say no. It's like, well, it's in your contract.
Because like the big thing that's different about
like this
them
many
is,
movies and this amount of TV series.
And plus you got to think of the exact time, like the runtime of everything affects things because and I've never been on a movie scene, I've never been on a TV set, but the thing I would think about is a movie, if you look at the total runtime, is vastly shorter than a TV series. Like Avengers Endgame, 3 to 4 hours. Titans Season 2, 13 hours? Because you got almost an hour an episode, 13 episodes.
Well, it seems if it's going to be anything like The Mandalorian, everything's going to be a half-hour episode.
You think so?
Possibly.
Which, if we have time to do a Mandalorian one, I would love to talk about that because
if nothing else, we just do a review after the whole season's over.
I have thoughts about the shortened episodes on Disney Plus.
Oh, okay.
And I am not a fan of it. But yeah, Chadwick Boseman, I just thought it was interesting that he was like, nope, don't want to do that. Don't want that smoke, basically. Don't want none of that noise. Last MCU topic for today, Johnny, and I found this very kind of one of those like, okay. The article reads, Jack Black wants to play Marvel's Kingpin or The Thing. And this obviously comes from, yet again, doing press. So in our interview, this is from Screen Rants. In our our Screen Rant, I should say, putting an S on it when it doesn't. In our interview with Jack Black about Jumanji: The Next Level, Black briefly talked about taking a role in the MCU. We told Black that we hope that one day see him in the MCU and asked him if he had a character he would like to play. To which he responded, no one's coming to mind. Oh, it'd be fun to play like an evil dude like Kingpin. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe The Thing. It'd be rad to be that rock dude from the Fantastic Four. Johnny, of course that quote doesn't mean like he's clamoring. It's not like, make me the Thing. Let's do it. Let's start a campaign. I want to be the Thing. Doesn't sound like he's on that side. But I just wanted to ask you being the Marvel guy, could you see Jack Black being either Kingpin or The Thing in a Marvel movie?
Kingpin, no. Jack Black is
I feel the same
way too into the humor side of things, and I cannot see the Kingpin doing that at all. I've not seen enough of a serious side role for Jack Black other than like a few minutes.
You want an MCU
movie?
Kingpin? Get the guy from Daredevil.
No, for sure. He is nailed it.
Like, get him. He's perfect.
Just bring him back. He nailed it. I cannot think of anyone who can do a better job. Because he, like I said, he fucking nailed it.
Exactly.
Like, if I saw a live action Kingpin, that's the only person so far I can think of.
What about
I
the
could
Thing,
see him
though?
as the Thing. I could see that being a potential. It'd be like a funnier, more comedic side to it. But like I said, the most I've seen Jack Black be serious is like very small parts of his movies. Like where
And I would think like movies that aren't even, because most of his movies are
lows.
funny movies.
They're all comedies, and like I said, it's the lows of the movies where you have to have a serious moment.
And we were talking about Vincent D'Onofrio. That was his name. The original King, the Kingpin. I wanted to say his name,
Daredevil Kingpin,
just so we give him some credit, because he was also in Men in Black. Was like, oh, I recognize him. Where was he from? He was Edgar in Men in Black, the original Men in Black.
Oh wow,
original. What did I see him in recently that I was like, oh, that's what it was. It was Death Wish. He was Frank in Death Wish, and I remember saying to you after that movie, I think I know him, and you looked it up, and I was like, oh, he's Kingpin. That's where I know.
Yeah,
the face
no, okay, now I remember
because he actually had hair in Death Wish.
You're right. I'm like, what did I see? Like, because we were both talking about it. It's like, he looks familiar. What was he in?
It was in Death Wish is where we saw him. That was actually before.
I'm gonna just go off of his two picks, which didn't even sound serious by the commentary.
By the exact quote, no, it just sounded like, yeah, it'd be cool to play these guys.
Yeah, like not even like that's the thing is what I like when someone like is
clamoring for it,
super excited.
Okay.
Like I want to be this character. This is like if I'm gonna pick one of the two, it's the Thing. Do I want him as the Thing? I don't know. I want the actor to be actor or actress to be excited about the role they're about to play. I want them like Benedict Cumberbatch going into a comic book store dressed as Doctor Strange, buying Doctor Strange comics to find more about the character, etc., etc. That's what I want out of it, and that's maybe all of them do that. I've seen quite a few of them.
Like the amount of love that Mark Ruffalo has for the Hulk.
Exactly. That's most of those characters, actually. They go and they research the character, etc., etc. I want that excitement out of it. Okay. If Jack Black starts showing that when he like gets asked to possibly play a role, then cool. If I'm going to pick from the two he's doing, it's going to be the Thing.
Yeah.
Because again, I don't know his serious chops, and I don't know if I want him as the Kingpin at this time.
Because I mean, like, even just before I even read the exact quote, when I saw it, I was like, Kingpin right away. Because of what you said. You need a more serious... Like, Kingpin doesn't smile.
No.
Kingpin is very serious, but like...
He smiles when something bad happens that he liked to happen.
Also,
that's really it.
The Thing, though, too, like... The Thing is also, to me, not a comedic guy.
No.
It's more of an annoyed guy. Because... Angry annoyance. Because... Everyone else got these cool superpowers. I got it, and I look like this.
Yeah, exactly. It's like everyone got cool superpowers and looks normal. And Johnny, I look like a fucking monster right now.
And Johnny's the funny one. Johnny is supposed to be the funny one. Johnny looked like I'm the funny one. No, Johnny Storm is the funny one. Next two, I kind of want to package together. They're going to be very light. Video game news. Apparently, one of which, and I've got a unique question for you when it comes to this, is so there was a leaker on Reddit. Does the Screen Rant article give us the name of the leaker? They do not. So basically it says, according to a leaker on Reddit, the latest Assassin's Creed will be dubbed Ragnorak, with its reveal happening during a February PlayStation event, most likely Sony's State of Play. It will have a release window of fall 2020, so about a year, little under a year from where we're at right now, barring any delays, and will be multi-platform across older and new generation consoles. Because I'm going to interject here, the reason why they're doing that is around that time is going to be when the next gen of consoles is getting ready to come out with PlayStation 5 and Xbox Scarlet. And it says, meaning it'll be on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Scarlet.
Hopefully that's still true.
Allegedly, Assassin's Creed Ragnarok will take place in both Scandinavia and England, which includes London and Plymouth. What's interesting, if this leak is true, is its gameplay. Ragnarok will allegedly reintroduce Brotherhood's recruitment system, which could mean that players will be building another alliance. They'll also be able to travel using a boat, though supposedly there's less naval fights than Black Flag or Odyssey. Thank God, I hated the fights in Odyssey when it was the boats. Worst part of the game by far.
Really? I didn't play Odyssey yet.
I fucking hated it. I'll get into my mini rant after I finish reading this.
Okay.
In terms of story, this game's protagonist is named Jorah, with the player given the option to choose between male or female, which I liked. You could do that in Assassin's Creed Odyssey too. The plot will revolve around revenge, with a big part being the first civilization. Norse mythology does play a big part in Ragnarok's story, as the player will get to explore realms such as Asgard and Jotunheim and meet gods like Loki and Odin. This game will also conclude the present-day timeline that takes place in Origins and Odyssey. I have a unique question for you. What? Did I say something wrong?
No, it's more about the game I'm thinking about.
What are you thinking about?
Didn't we already get God of War?
This is Assassin's Creed, not God of War.
I know, I'm making a joke.
I thought the same thing.
It's like,
we got to go to Asgard, we got to go to Jotunheim.
I'm like pretty sure we already got God of War.
Spoilers for God of War if you have not played it.
I didn't play it.
I'm not going to spoil it then. Are you going to play it?
Yeah, I'm going to play it.
No. The reason why I'm asking, because if you are, I'm not going to spoil it.
I appreciate that.
Never mind. No spoilers for God of War.
Shouldn't be a surprise.
No spoilers for God of War. Well, because the ending of God of War hit me.
Don't ruin it for me.
I'm not. I'm just saying
Or
it
I
hit
will
me.
break
Like
you.
the emotions that it actually made me feel emotions because of how attached to the characters you get. That's all I'm going to say. But my question for you was, Johnny, does this sound like because Assassin's Creed? Have you ever played any of Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, I played
games?
like the first 3 or 4 of them.
Is this sounding like a game? Because when I heard it was going to be Ragnarok, my first thought is, this is right up Johnny's alley.
Yep.
Is this going to be enough to get you to jump back into the Assassin's Creed pool?
I'm going to play this one. Once it comes out, I might wait for the price to go down a little bit and then play it.
Johnny's like, I have to play it.
I have to play it. It's Norse themed. But that's the thing is, like, the one thing that's kind of turned me off of it, and I'm still going to probably play it anyways just because of the theme of it. Mm-hmm. Why are we going into the mythos, like the mythology parts? That's what God of War is for. You're supposed to be just like an Assassin's Creed game in the time period. Unless something changed in Odyssey that I don't know about.
With Odyssey, I'll explain Odyssey. Spoilers for Odyssey.
You can spoil Odyssey
if you haven't played it. Let me quickly hit the camera.
Yeah, go ahead. I was going to say I could hit it since you got to talk, but since you already got up. Because Ricky's got that anal retentive.
I do. I'm anal retentive about it. So in Odyssey, what happened was, and this is where, so I didn't play Origins, but based off of what they said in Odyssey, in present day times, there was like a machine that whether you picked a guy or a girl, Alexios or Cassandra. I picked Cassandra because I played a little bit of Alexios. And then I said, stop. I'm going to play the same as Cassandra. Then kind of just make my decision of who I want to spend my time with. Yeah. Cassandra's voice actor was nothing against Alexios's, but Cassandra's was so much better to where I'm like, I want to spend my multiple hours with her rather than him. She gets in this machine, like kind of like a bed machine. Yeah. And it's all about the spear of, I don't even remember what the fuck it's called. Some mythical spear that you're kind of recreating, and it's like you go back into the world of ancient Greece. Okay. And you're basically in that time period. And it's got its own story. You're kind of like in a, I don't want to say a trance, but it's like you're living this character's life. You're living Cassandra's life.
Like every Assassin's Creed game. You're
exactly.
A modern day person put into sort of a
bingo. Like into
blah,
a
blah,
story.
Blah chamber, and then you get to see someone who's tied into your family line, your
kind of
DNA ancestor who was part of the Assassin's Guild.
Yeah. And it's been so long since I've played it. You go through the normal storyline, but the big twist at the end is you find Atlantis, the lost city of Atlantis. And you basically find out, you find out that Pythagoras is your father. And it kind of chose into like Cassandra, because later on in the game, if you do the extra part to get the full ending of the story, you see her in like a suit. And it's like she is now in real life, I believe, to where this might do the same thing, where it's like you're going to be in that Norse time as this character because of this machine. I wish I knew more of the Assassin's Creed because Odyssey was the only one I've played.
Okay,
I've not played anything but Odyssey.
Every single Assassin's Creed I played is what it is you're except for, what is it? The Revolutionary War based one.
Yes.
That one was a little bit different.
I think.
Revelation, yeah. I think that's the one. The other Assassin's
Black
Creed...
Flag was pirates.
Yeah, I didn't play Black Flag. I didn't play anything after that, so I didn't play Black Flag or Odyssey. But I played the first one. Basically, I can't remember the name of that one, but I remember Enzio. I played both of the games with him, both him and the second one he was in when he's older Enzio. But what ideally it is, it starts off as the story.
Spear of Leonidas, that's what it was.
So you start off as a modern day person, and you really don't do a lot of that. That's all like storyline. You do a little bit of walking around, but most of it's just it's storyline where it's like, hey, we're gonna put you in this thing, and we're gonna have you, and it's the actual what's the enemy called again for most of it? The Crusaders or something like that.
In Assassin's Creed Odyssey, it was it was a cult.
I think it's probably the same thing tied in. It's sort of the Crusaders or something like that. Anyways, what it was is they're trying to get information on where something they're looking for is. Blah, 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 whatever. Don't care at the moment for details. But what happens is they put them in the machine, and that person starts reliving the the ancestor's life as an assassin. And you kind of like, it's kind of sort of sandbox freeform, but all in all, there is a storyline that you're following.
Like it says here, because I actually looked
and
it
there's
up.
an end to go to.
In the present, Layla recovers the Spear of Leonidas, and together with Victoria, extracts the DNA of two individuals from it. The siblings, Cassandra and Alexios. With the help of the assassins, Layla picks up one of the siblings, the Mystios, and activates the Animus to find the location of the Staff of Hermes. So you get to pick which twin it is.
They're looking for like relics, though.
Exactly. And the thing that was cool about the story of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, since they were siblings, whichever one you picked, the cult or the bad guys, because you had to go through the map, find different cult. You had to like figure out clues to find the different brotherhood, or I'm calling it brother, the cult leaders. Kill them. They give you a clue to find the big guys, and you got to kill the main one.
That's all of them. But
the thing that was interesting about it is guess who the cult recruits and who's an evil version of you for them? Your sibling. So like for me, I played Cassandra.
So
Alexios was evil Alexios because he was
it would have been whatever the opposite
if I was Alexios, it would have been Cassandra.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean that's all like generally the same storyline.
So you're like, oh, it's going to be the same thing, but Ragnarok.
No, but that's not what I'm saying is like the part that kind of bugs me, because I get it. That's the Assassin's Creed thing.
Yeah.
They have someone go into...
It's their MacGuffin.
That they have someone go into the Animus to go and find some sort of ancient... Like, get the storyline to find some sort of ancient relic. Like, where was it last left so we can find it, because we're the evil organization.
Yeah.
Why are we going to Asgard? Why are we going to
Well, I'll let me.
Those are the things I don't get. Did you go anywhere mythical?
I was in ancient Greece.
So you didn't go anywhere mythical.
I went. It was all in ancient Greece. Let me read you the end that ties in the Atlantis.
Other than Atlantis, but go ahead.
And I didn't really go to Atlantis. All it was there was a part that was underground.
Yeah.
To where when I got to it, it was like a water portal kind of thing, where it was like, wow, that's a wall of water, but I can see into water. It's like, oh, there's a fucking city there. That's fucking Atlantis. But just the end of this. Where's the Pythagoras part? Because you find out that Pythagoras, or they call it Pythagoras, but it's basically Pythagoras, is your father. And him and Maureen had a kid. It's you and Alexios. With war averted, the cult virtually eliminated, the Mystioses head to the cult's secret meeting place under the Temple of Delphi to destroy the prosecutor pyramid the cult was using to influence Greek politics. Touching it, they reveal visions of future conflicts to come before destroying the pyramid. Aspasia then arrives and reveals that she was the original leader of the cult, but disagreed with its actions as its members became more corrupt. And she thanks the Mystios for destroying the cult. The Mystios has the option of killing or sparing Aspasia, but cuts ties with her regardless. I think I killed her because I'm like, fuck you. Like, whatever. That's a great thing I liked about it. You got to make choices like that. Finally, the Mystios collects all the artifacts from needed to seal Atlantis and activates a recording of the persecutor or the precursor, if I could fucking read, who pleads with the Mystios and Layla that precursor knowledge and technology is not meant for humans and must be destroyed in order for humans to reach their true potential. Pythagoras reluctantly passes the staff of Hermes on to the Mystios, dying in the process. The Mystios then continues their adventures. In the present, Layla uses the data of the Animus to find Atlantis and activate it. As the assassins analyze the data within, Layla is shocked to find the Mystios. So you go and find, like, you play as Layla, and then boom, that's where I was talking about, like, Cassandra's there. She was in a suit. She had the staff of Hermes. Kept alive until modern times with the staff of Hermes. The Mystios warns Layla that the world needs a balance between order and chaos. The Templar Order and assassins,
Templars, that's what it is,
and assassins respectively, and either side prevailing over the other will result in the world's doom. The Mystios also explains that Layla is the prophesized one who will bring balance to order and chaos, and gives her the staff of Hermes, sacrificing their life in the process. Layla, however, states that there is so much that the Mystios' life has not seen and re-enters the Animus. So that's kind of like the, hey, you can still continue to play, plus there's going to be DLC for us to go through. And they came out with some other DLC. I got to still play the DLC because I was on other games. But I'm assuming Ragnarok's going to be the same thing. Just in the Norse mythology instead of the Greek mythology.
You didn't go into mythology. You didn't go anywhere you didn't go to Hades. You didn't go to Olympus, right? No. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. Why are we going to Asgard? Why are we going to Jotunheim? Why are we going to these places? These are not, this is not the realm of what Assassin's Creed is supposed to be. It's supposed to be just take place in Scandinavia, England, Finland, Norway. It should be in that area then.
Yeah.
I think Denmark would be one of them. It's like if we're doing a Norse,
you're talking about actual places, not like the
mythological places.
Like, for example, for us, it would be heaven and hell.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Like places that it's like, wow, they don't actually exist technically.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Like in God of War, to get there, we had to use the Bifrost.
Yeah. Sure, I never played it.
Yeah, we did. It's not a spoiler. You got to use the Bifrost to get there. It's not a big deal.
No, but like I'm saying, like that's God of War's niche is you go to mythological places.
Yeah.
Whereas Assassin's Creed was more of you're in ancient Greece, you're in colonial America, you're in Renaissance.
You're in
Italy. You're in.
Did you say ancient Greece?
Did I say? Yeah, I said ancient Greece.
I didn't want to say it again if you said it.
You're in like where was it? I think it was the ancient Middle East.
The French
first
Revolution.
one, the French Revolution. You're in wherever Black Flag took place, probably 1700s.
Yeah.
But you're in that era. You're not going somewhere mythological. The most mythological thing you brought up
was Atlantis.
Was going to Atlantis, and that sounded more like it's just there. It sounded more like it was just an underground cavern.
Yeah, it was. I didn't even go to Atlantis. I just saw it in the background.
Exactly. So I mean, that's the only thing that's kind of irking me
and it'll
about the story of Ragnarok.
And this is all a leak.
It's a leak, so it might not be true.
There's no truth to this, but it'll be interesting to see.
I'm going to play it because of the theme, but it's like I'm hoping that the leak is wrong to some degree, because it's like, why are we going to these mythological places? Because that's not a thing for any other Assassin's Creed I've played. We don't go to mythological places. We go into the past with the help of the Animus. So, I mean, otherwise, I mean, it sounds great. I want to play it because, again, one more. I want to play it because of the theme.
Yeah.
Just like I want to play God of War 4.
The other gaming...
Get it.
The other gaming thing I was going to bring up, and this one's super quick, is just there's a patent in Japan has been revealed for what looks to be a PS5 controller. And it basically looks almost the same. It's going to have the touchpad in the middle. The big difference are the triggers are going to be a little bit bigger. And it looks like the sizing of the controller is going to be more similar to the Xbox, is what they're saying. Like,
you guys are taking some from a more competent remote.
No, it's not that. It looks the same. It's just the handles are not going to be as thin. They're going to be a little thicker. Because you know how like the Xbox controller is a little bit more bulkier in your hand? I don't know how I'm going to feel about that because I've always liked the PlayStation controller how it is. But it's all the same. There's a CUSB in the back instead of the USB-B that they were using.
Yeah.
So they're just updating it. It's not big. I saw one that's like, it might have like a lit up screen on the controller. Oh, they also took off the light bar in the back that lights up like blue when the controller's on, red when it's dying. It lights up and blinks yellow when it's in rest mode. Wasn't really fucking needed. It wasn't like it was cool. Ooh, it lights up. But I never looked at it for anything. The last thing though on the podcast I want to bring up, this shouldn't take long, but yet again, I didn't think the Ragnarok one was going to take as long as it did, is Kathleen Kennedy has a very, 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 very interesting theory about Star Wars and why they are losing directors. According to Kathleen Kennedy, there is no walk in the park. While speaking with Rolling Stone, the Lucasfilm president explained just how difficult it is to make a Star Wars movie. Apparently, part of this boils down to her view that the franchise doesn't have any prior material to pull from. Her quote is, "Every one of these movies is a particularly hard nut to crack. There's no source material. We don't have comic books. We don't have 800-page novels. We don't have anything other than passionate storytellers who get together and talk about what the next iteration might be. We go through a really normal development process that everybody else does." I got one thing to say about this. There are Star Wars comics. There are Star Wars novels. Am I wrong?
I just asked Google, how many Star Wars books are there? First answer. The answer is, give or take, 381 books!
Now, here's the thing I think she meant. You know, here's what I think she meant. I think she meant that, hey, this was created by one guy, mainly the movies and George Lucas, to where I watched a video of Freddie Prinze Jr. talk about it because he was on one of the Star Wars TV shows, the animated ones.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
And he got really fucking passionate about, like, because apparently George Lucas explained to the director of this series, like, how the Force works. Mm-hmm. And then this director kind of passed it down to Freddie Prinze Jr., to where he said he knows, without reading the script for the new Star Wars movies, he knows exactly what's going to happen because how the Force was explained to him. Like, for example, he's like, I'm not going to spoil anything, but he goes, think back to A New Hope. Think back to A New Hope. Anakin gets taken to the light side. He goes, it's all about balance. He goes, Anakin gets taken to the dark side. We need to balance that because now the dark side has added one more person. So to balance it, you don't just add one to the light side, you add two to the light side. Twins. So he's like basing off of that, like you could then see how the whole trilogy works, and you can then use that for this new Skywalker trilogy, where he says apparently he knows how the last movie's going to end just based off of how the Force works. I think what she means is not that there's no source material, that there's no concrete to where it's like, this is the way. This is the way. Like, there's no that. It's just, hey, I can have my own interpretation. Like, the Force is the Force. That's the only thing that's set. And the only one that really knows how it fucking works is George Lucas. So unless he's doing it, I'm just interpreting.
You bring him in for
what it is.
I mean, the worst case scenario, you bring him in for a collab.
Mm-hmm. Or for consultation.
Consultation even. Collaboration, consultation. Mm-hmm. But don't give me there's no, well, because she's trying to make the argument. There's no comic books. There's no books. There are 381. I'll fully read the answer it gives me. Just first thing comes up from Quora. The answer is, give or take, 381 books, canon, in parentheses, unfinished and still growing, close parentheses, including all types of published to date, ... give or take 86 books. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, nothing else, there's 86 books, but it says there's 381 books. Yeah. Some of it unfinished, some of it unfinished material, the sources are still growing. Guess what? You can't make the argument that there is nothing to work off of. Yeah, and it's funny. The superhero hype article that I got this from goes on to say, Kennedy's comments are rather surprising since she seems to have forgotten about the Star Wars expanded universe. That assortment of comics, novels, and video games continued the Star Wars saga long after Return of the Jedi arrived in 1983. But when Disney bought Lucasfilms in 2012, the studio made those tales non-canon in favor of telling new original stories. Any EU material was subsequently rebranded as Star Wars Legends. There have also been several Star Wars novels and comic books within the new continuity. Regardless, Kennedy doesn't sound like she has any regrets about launching the sequel trilogy with J.J. Abrams. I just think this is something of, you thought it would be easy to say, yeah, none of that's canon, we're going to make up our own. And then realize, shit, if we throw all the source material out, we have nothing to work on. Which, it's really hard to come up with your own idea and make it. Yeah. It's like when Stan Lee came up with Spider-Man and all of Marvel, that wasn't an easy thing to do. Especially when you had people saying that Spider-Man is not going to work. People are afraid of spiders. People don't like spiders. And look what happened.
Yeah, now everyone loves Spider-Man. I got a fucking Spider-Man backpack.
Yeah, you do.
For me, I look at this and it's like, you got one easy way. You just backtrack. You say, well, it's canon. That's easy. The EU, it's now canon. Now you can use things like that. Otherwise, you're going to, because as a director, like, for example, now I understand why the Game of Thrones guys backed out of the Star Wars project, because they were working with Game of Thrones that has books upon books upon books for them to work on. Concrete information from George R.R. Martin. It would be like Game of Thrones if they said, yeah, all the books are not canon. We're going to come up with our own story. it'd be a little bit harder. Because it's like, great, now I have to kind of think like I'm George R. R. Martin. And that's the tricky part with Star Wars. It might be thinking, if I can't use this because it's not canon, then now I have to try to think like I'm George Lucas. And Star Wars fans, we're a particular bunch. We are very picky. If things aren't exactly how we want it, we revolt. He doesn't like you.
I don't like you either. Or you can be like a lot of Star Wars fans and I don't like 6. Okay, so we're gonna do 7. I don't like 7. Okay, well then we'll do 8. I don't like 8. Well then what the fuck do you want?
Yeah, I didn't like 8, but I like 7.
Exactly, but I got some people like shitting
I don't
on
like 7. I don't like 8.
Well then what the fuck do you want?
Mm-hmm. They like midichlorians. That's what they like.
Like midichlorians.
They like midichlorians.
You're like, go home. You don't get to watch Star Wars anymore.
Speaking of that, before we end the podcast,
yeah,
I watched on Disney Plus recently 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
Rewatched them because I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna rewatch them.
Mm-hmm.
Went to watch The Phantom Menace because I'm like, oh, I'll do the same thing for the prequels. Got to the part where they're leaving Naboo, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna turn this off. So I did not finish it yet. I will maybe go back to it. I have not yet.
Oh man.
But yeah, I just wanted to throw that in because it's interesting that the problem with Star Wars movies and why we don't have more of them is because there's no source material. But if we were going to talk about the Disney movies that have already been planned out until 2027, that we'll talk about on a future podcast, some of those dates include future Star Wars movies. Any final thoughts on anything before we wrap up, Johnny?
No, I think see, people need to think before they speak. And on this last one,
people don't do that often, though.
I know they don't, but even directors, you need to think before you speak, because guess what? You have source material if you just stick with canon stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you think down below. You have, over 300, right?
I read it was over 381 sources of material.
There are so many stories that you could tell in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah. I mean, you can...
And not all of them have to be Skywalker.
Yeah, we're finally finishing the Skywalker saga. So, I mean, hey, guess what? Let's touch something else.
We'll see.
There's so many other things in that universe.
But this is where you guys come in. Thank you guys for watching. Let us know what you guys think down below in that comment section. Make sure to support us, patreon.com/Most Valuable Podcast. Is it empty or are people writing down there? You looked.
I'm looking. It honestly just looks like lines and stuff.
Oh, that's right, because it's a 2D
it's a 2D thing. I can't.
When we look down, it's like looking down a cliff.
It's just like a cliff with a bunch of lines.
Yeah, we can't do that.
Sorry, I can't read it from here. I have to read it. You got to do it on your
computer screen. But let us know what you think down below. Patreon.com/Most Valuable Podcast is where you help support us. $1 tier, you can join our Discord. Live watch-alongs. We're eventually going to do some more nerd stuff on there, but you can talk with our great Patreon community as well as us. $5 tier, ask us questions that we answer on the podcast. And then number 3, for $10, you get to join a podcast and talk about whatever it is you would like to talk about. I want to thank you guys for watching and listening. And as always, have a good day, everybody.